Hello, everybody. Tuesday. It's warm in Ireland. Huh?
Mm.
Yeah, it is warm. Come on.
Yeah.
It is
So
warm.
so.
It is warm.
Yeah.
So good to have you guys here. And today we keep going on our conversations about the gospel according to Spiritism. And we will start a new chapter. Is chapter 20. Our plan is going today from item 1 up to item 4. This is the plan. So I can see people are still joining us. So thank you all. Meanwhile, let's have our initial prayer. So I'd like to invite everyone to close your eyes, raise up your thoughts if you can, if you and make connection with superior spirits, with our mentors of the show, mentors of Kardec Radio, thanking them for the opportunity to be here, for the opportunity to have you listen us, for the opportunity to talk about spiritism. Please send these good vibrations towards our brothers and sisters who are in the hospitals, who are on the streets, those who are thinking about suicide and suffering from depression. So be it. Amen. Okay, so chapter 20. It's a wonderful chapter because it talks about the workers of the last hour. And so far, and I believe Wanderley agree with me, I saw a lot of people misunderstanding these workers for last hour.
Yeah.
People not. I'm not saying we own the truth here, but at least we try to use the rationality, and everything we have read or lives we have watched, so allow us to think this is uh, an acceptable explanation. I cannot say this is right or wrong because I said we don't own the truth. Hey Lou, how are you? I hope you are not freezing in Rio. Yeah, now switch it everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the chapter 20 starts with a wonderful parable. And we can find this parable in Matthew's 21 to 16. Is the parable of the wedding feast. So, we will not read the parable here, but I can say more or less. For the kingdom of heaven is like a man who is a householder, which went early in the morning to work and gather workers. So he got the first bunch of workers, Then he went out again. He got another bunch of people. Then he did this successfully until the last hour. He got some another bunch of people and sent him to work, and he agreed with everybody. He will give a coin. Let's say this. At the end, uh, the householder asked for their servant to pay what he owns, and he asked to start first from the last ones, and he gave one coin to each of one. And of course, people start to complain. Hey, I'm start working here since 8 o'clock in the morning, and you gave me a coin. Wanderley just arrived an hour ago, and he's got the same coin. So I think this is unfair. This is the parable, very synthesized, very explained in my own words, but this is what we're gonna talk about today. You wanna say something, Andre?
Yeah, it's just this parable, as Stevan said, it has been very controversial for many, many centuries because it gives the impression that Jesus or God was unfair. Because, like
Mhm.
Stevan said, whoever starts earlier, why would that person get the same amount of money or the same amount of coins? But in this parable, so we have the famous part which says that many are called, but a few are chosen. And in that part also, throughout centuries, it was very, very badly interpreted. But here, what we have to understand that this vineyard here, we're gonna see here as the spirits they start to explain what they are really like. Normally, the spirits they explain a little bit about the parables, but in this case, they really explain everything. So they explain to us that the problem of being a worker of the there is no problem of being a worker of the last hour. The problem is why are you late to work? As it says here in the first sentence on the item 2, the work of the last hour has the right to his wages. Nevertheless, it's important that he wasn't his lateness is not due either to laziness or reluctant of but the fact that he's willing to work. So basically, what they are trying to say, if you were lazy or if you were reluctant to work in the vineyard, then we have a problem if you just came late to work. But if you came to work late because maybe you had issues or stuff like this, would be okay. Let's try to simplify this once it comes to Spiritism. There is a beautiful passage, I think, from Memoirs of the Suicidal by Ivone do Amaral Pereira, that she says that each Friday, or I don't remember if it's once per month, the spirit of Mary, the mother of Jesus, according to her, of course, goes to the lower zones and starts to call for people. And she explains that many spirits they are there for centuries, for in some cases for like I don't know how many thousands of years. They don't want to work. They don't want to reincarnate. They want to stay in that stage forever. But she throws a kind of her veil there, and whoever takes her veil and wants to work or wants to reincarnate again, she gives the chance. So as it says here, if we are like these ones who don't want to accept the help or we don't want to accept the burden to work in order to improve ourselves, then we have a problem if we are the workers of the last hour. But maybe in some cases, for example, we take Emmanuel, for example. Emmanuel, he had the opportunity that's written in the book 2000 years ago when Jesus himself come and ask him to come to work. And Jesus say, avoid centuries of pain and heavy burden and come with me. And because he was very prideful, he said, "No, who are you? Who is this prophet?" So what I'm trying to say is like this: when the master of the vineyard go and calls people, and those ones they're like Emmanuel, or like some of us, or like some of them who are in the umbral in the case of Maria, and we don't want to go, it's our choice. But then we cannot complain till later on. But in the case of Emmanuel, for example, that he realized throughout reincarnations that what he was doing wasn't his best choice, then he starts to work. Then the master of the vineyard, Jesus or God, we can say they will accept us again. So it's a matter of, if we are late, depends on why. If we are late to work in life, why are we late? If you are lazy, there is a problem. But perhaps you are believing like Paul of Tarsus, because Paul, though he did what he did, deep inside his heart, he believed he was correct. So we can say that he wasn't the first one of the first workers. If we just forget about reincarnations, but we can say that he accepted the invitation quite late because he believed it was correct. So once we believe what we are doing are correct, we are not lazy. We are just believing something different.
Mhm.
Because we cannot believe in everyone here in all the same. So this part is quite beautiful because it expresses very, very, it's very strong when it expresses that we shouldn't be lazy to accept the work, so we shouldn't refuse. While, as it says here, some people, while they are refusing, they might say, why am I gonna be doing something now? For example, if I come to Steven and say, Steven, let's like perhaps you believe in spiritism, or you are good at doing something, why not doing this and that? And Steven said, why should I be bothered doing that? I don't care. I'm gonna wait until the last minute, then I do it. Some people, they do like this, they just study in the last minute. So what happens? Sometimes we just get troubles. So it says here to us that we shouldn't be those ones. We should be a bit more aware and accept once the invitation comes to us. Otherwise, we're gonna receive accordingly. Go ahead, Steven.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Hey, Robbie, how are you, my friend? Uh, we need to figure out another way we can see this. Is we can compare the workers with the evolution of each one. Let's say, let's take a lift on what Wanderley said. We Those who are reincarnating, among of all these people who are reincarnating, we do have people who are more evolved and less evolved. Some people will need more reincarnations to understand something. Other people will need less incarnations to understand the same thing. Sometimes some people, uh, they can understand the level of what we're talking about, and they got the idea. Some people, even though you draw for them, they don't get it. So let's assume here in this example, the first workers were those who are reincarnated, but they need a lot of reincarnations in order to understand, in order to to overcome some issues they have, personal issues. And let's say those who were last, or called for the last hour, are those like Wanderley. Don't just need one incarnation and that's it. Full stop. Let's go. Let's move on. You know, I'm just to make you happy. I want to get a smile from you. So we can compare with these as well. It's not being unfair, but Like if you are a father, you don't treat your daughter or your son the same way. Sometimes you know both, or let's say you assume, let's say you have two, like I have my two daughters, and I know both. I know I first one I needed to go into the detail. I need to explain. I need to confirm. I need to make sure. Oh, did you get it? The other, I just say once, and that's it. But it doesn't mean one is less important or more important than the other. It's just the way they understand. It's just the how they understand. And we can compare this big the last work or the first work with this reincarnation. This is going to take us to question 674 of the Spirit's book, in which it says, work is part of the natural law. So we need to work. And what it is a work? Reincarnate. Work for what? To overcome our imperfections, or to overcome or to fulfill or to reach certain goal you set to you before your reincarnation. Okay, so this is something we needed to be aware of, and is not a matter of being just or not just, because what's the pay? I just said the reincarnation is a work. What's the final pay? Reach the perfection. So it doesn't matter if I need like a billion, a zillion incarnations, or I need a 2 or 3 reincarnations. Both will receive the same salary, which is the perfection. Right?
Yeah, just to emphasize what Steven said, once you have here, like we have here in item 3, this is the spirits that are trying to explain to us that once we think about the first workers, more than likely they were the prophets. They were those ones who started earlier, but not because they were prophets or they were wise men, they were philosophers, that they were perfect. So they were the ones who are readier to work. Okay, so they started to work, they died, they passed away, they died, they reincarnate, and they kept coming. Once we start to become ready to work also, then we started to work also. Because we have to understand that not all spirits are created at the same time. Some spirits were created before, because God does never stop creating. Okay, so some spirits, like Steven said, they decide to choose doing good straight away. Some spirits, they decide to doing evil. Most of us, we decide to doing evil. So because we keep in this trial and error for several incarnations, we keep coming. But now we have to understand that all the parables of the gospels of the Bible, Jesus is talking about one place at one time, which is the word of regeneration. He's talking about this time, which for some it started, but we are just in the beginning. So I can even say that we didn't even start properly. So we are like let's say midnight. We are like half 12 p.m. So we are just in the beginning. So all the parables that we have in the gospel talks about this kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God, this good place. So the workers of the last hour, they were the ones who were trying to explain to people, hey, let's try to live in a better way. Let's to study philosophy. Let's try to be just with each other. Let's try to create fraternity to each other. They were the ones who were helping and were helping society in general. And like Steven said, we It's not that we are just reincarnating now in the last hour. No, we reincarnated before, but many times before that reincarnated, like I said about this passage of Maria, we didn't care. We just said, okay, I'm here, I don't want to do anything. But now, Jesus said here in the gospel so many times that which one of us we're gonna be giving the same opportunity. So in this parable, all of them they were given the same opportunity and received equally. So we cannot say once the word of the generation comes 100%, let's say, comes 7 a.m., the sun is quite high, then we have the word of regeneration, where the word will be a bit better than now, that we didn't have the chance. So we are all called to work in the vineyard. But remember what we have here in the last part of the Bible. So that's so the last shall be the first, and the
Hmm.
first shall be the last. So for many are called, and but a few are chosen. So we are all called. We are all called to do our part. But when he says a few are chosen, it's not that God only chosen a few ones, but we are chosen. We are making ourselves to be chosen. And how are we doing this? Are we being nice to God? No, we are following the moral laws, which is written in our mind. So once we are doing good, we are preparing ourselves to be chosen. But chosen by who? By God? No, not by God exactly, even though the parable says this, but we are chosen to be living in this happy world, or the world of regeneration, which is a beginning of a happy world. Happy world, we are very far, because world of
Hmm.
regeneration, we still have plenty of evil, but not like now, okay? So we are preparing ourselves. So we have to prepare ourselves to be chosen. That's why this parable can be quite badly interpreted, like if God was just going to choose a few. No, we are making ourselves to be chosen, but we have to do our part. Like it says here, the fields, they need our hands, they need our tools, they need our time. So we have to do our part. So if you don't do our part, like it says here in the last part of item, no, the in the end of part two, it says here that the master will say, don't come to work in my vineyard anymore. You're not able to, you're not a good worker, you don't want to work basically. But once you are ready to work, come and look for me. I will give you a job. I will allow you to work. So we can think about reincarnation again. Once we are more prepared and once we really want to do something good, perhaps we're going to be given a better reincarnation or a chance to produce more in that reincarnation, a chance to meet nicer people in order to improve ourselves. So, but everything must start on us. If we don't start this process, forget about the good spirits. They're not going to do that for us. So, in this case, we're not going to be able to live in the world of regeneration
Hmm.
anymore. We're going to be those ones who are lazy. We don't want to work in the vineyard. We want to be, on the square, idle, relax, and enjoying, and just watching time pass by. That's why I think we have to try to understand that this parable it's a call in order to us to do something good. Is it a call to us to become all spirits? No, it's a call to us to do more charity. It's to become more people who are a bit more who practice fraternity, people who see our neighbor and our enemies like us, people who wants to improve, who wants to be happier, who perhaps we don't like, or perhaps we don't like much anymore, but we don't wish any evil to that person. And if that person needs our help, we will help, you know? So we have to be able to do this kind of stuff to become better. Because once you are able to do this, then we are preparing ourselves to work again in the vineyard. So then we are preparing ourselves to have another reincarnation in order to improve ourselves. Go ahead, Steven.
Uh, I would say uh, the the bottom line of all this it is the free will. Like the example Wanderley gave, Emmanuel, which was the Chico Xavier's mentor, he was invited by Jesus himself to
He was
follow.
beside him,
He
right
there,
beside.
hey, how are
Hey,
you?
brother.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, come here. Oh no, no. And now, incarnations later,
2,000 years later.
do you think? Can you imagine yourself, and you know now by a regression, you know Jesus himself invites you to follow him, and he said, "No, I'm not. I'm okay today." First of all, we're going to start the depression stage, like I'm so stupid. I'm so this. I'm so that. I'm so fool. I don't know. We will start to call us names. But at that time, that's why we're saying we do have free will. Yes, we do have free will, but our free will is limited according to our knowledge. So, in other words, what I'm saying is perhaps at that time when the Manuel was invited, he didn't have the idea, he didn't build, so he was not prepared to follow Jesus.
Steven, I don't like to interrupt, but in this case, I have to. I
Yeah.
think the case of Emmanuel was much more pride because I don't think Jesus would never
Well,
invite anyone who is not
is a
ready.
question. No, I
It was
agree
his
with you.
choice.
Is agree with you. Is a question of pride, but this pride it means he was not ready. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
couldn't understand this because if he understood how important was that invite, how brilliant was that invite. He doesn't care about pride. He doesn't care about what the people gonna think. He doesn't care about anything. He will just follow him. But at that time, he said no. It's like the that is another passage, Wanderley. You are way better than me in these passages from the gospel. But Jesus invited uh I
A
think
man to follow him, and
I
he
meant to
said,
follow him, and he
"Go
said,
and
"Oh,
leave your
I needed to bury my
to
I
bury my
need to go to
father."
my
Yeah,
father's funeral."
yeah.
Let's understand. Let's go back to that age, okay? At that time, at that time, a son to inherit his father fortune or lands or assets, the son must be from the beginning until the end of the funeral. Is not Jesus was not without compassion to say, "Oh, poor guy, he cannot even go to his father's funeral." And by the way, who gave me this message, who explained this, is Severino Celestino. So the boy wants to go to the funeral of the father in order to inherit the assets, the
Yeah.
money, the wealth of the father, and then he will follow Jesus. And Jesus said, "No, you need to come to me as you are now." So, was this boy fool or not? No. At that moment, his knowledge guided him to say, "No, let me go first to my father's funeral and then I follow you. Can you wait until tomorrow morning?" So this is the point why our free will is totally limited by our knowledge. Let's say today, even though we have all this conversation here about the gospel, let's say Jesus materialized here now. Wanderley, follow me now. No, but I need to reply this email here. No, no.
I have my driving test waiting till next week.
Exactly. And I had my driving license test next week. So let me go. Oh, I need to feed my daughter. Oh, my wife, what's she gonna think? No. He wants the answer straight away. And I bet you who are listeners, you will have the same problems as we will have. Like, can you come back in a month time? I will leave everything prepared and then I can go with you. No, I'm inviting you today. Like when he invited Peter and the first apostles, oh, give up everything and follow me. Yes, they give up everything and follow. He didn't think about the wife, about the kids, about her mother-in-law. He didn't think about it. He just, whoa, I go.
Steven,
So,
it's just good to make give an explanation about this. Let's remember like this, guys. Once we talk about Jesus in the Spiritist movement, we are talking the most evolved spirit whoever lived on earth. And according to Emmanuel himself, he's the great mentor of earth. He's the captain of earth. Why I'm saying this? Because he wouldn't call someone in that time or today, for example, who he knew that that person wasn't properly ready to do that stuff. Maybe that person, like Jesus said, or like Stevan said about the man, this boy, or about Peter, perhaps he called people who he knew were red, but maybe had some fear. So what was Jesus trying to do? He was trying to say, "Come on, overcome your fear. Come, like he did with Peter into the water. Peter, come and walk towards me," once he was in the sea. Because, of course, knowing that Jesus knows everything, he wouldn't be calling someone who doesn't care or who doesn't want to do anything. You know what I mean? So we have to understand
mhm.
that these invitations are wise. That's why these invitations, perhaps we can say, but Jesus never called me. He called that boy, he called people. He never called. But then, if you open our eyes, we're gonna see that the good spirits, Jesus Himself and God and the good spirits, the high evolved spirits, they send many messengers to earth to be calling us, to be doing our actions. So perhaps someone that we see as a model, Martin Luther King fighting against oppression in the United States, and in terms of the racial uh, situation that they had in the 60s, people saw him without fighting and they got inspired by him. Gandhi, for example, Chico Xavier. So these spirits are spirits who inspire us in order to do some good. So we can say, for us who are really here in the bottom, we are really here in the bottom level, that for us they are like Jesus calling us, because we are not ready yet to comprehend what an invitation of Jesus Himself or of high evolved spirit would be, because we are not in this moral level yet. So instead of comes the general to give the invitation to us, Stephen was like me in the army. If I was there a soldier, would the general come to me and shake my hand? Never, never, never. He would do that. He would never look at even to my face. What I'm trying to say is like this. So we cannot expect. Sometimes we ask ourselves, "Come on, just appear to me. Show me what I have to do." Forget it. Maybe you can have a dream and a good spirit. Maybe your mentor can use the face of Jesus Himself in order to inspire you, because in your mind, you're just gonna listen to Jesus. If it's not Jesus, you're not gonna do anything. Yes, but about Jesus Himself, guys, Forget it. Why? Because we are not in the same vibration. It's not because he thinks, oh, I'm too good for Stevan Wanderley. No, we are not in the same vibration. But he sends the missioners to earth in order to inspire us. So when we see those people are mentioned, they are, it's like a calling to us. We see those people doing something and we say to ourselves, I want to do something also. I see Divaldo Franco speaking about Spiritism. I see Haroldo Dutra Dias. Maybe I can speak a little bit. I don't know like them. I don't know even 1% of what, how much of what they know. But maybe I can talk to someone who knows even less than me. Okay, maybe in this case, I might be a good worker. I'm not going to be teaching Severino Celestino, but maybe I can teach someone who doesn't know what pure spirit is. Do you know what I mean? So we all have our position. We are all very important workers in this vineyard called Earth. We are very important workers, but each one of us we occupy one position. We are in one place. We are in one level of evolution. So, but the biggest challenge here to us is to leave our pride behind and don't see ourselves as better than the others once we know a little bit more, once we have a little bit more this, or once I'm closer to Divaldo, so I'm nicer, or I'm close to Stevan, who is the president of the Irish Spirit Federation, so I'm a nice guy. Forget it, guys. If you are doing this, because remember what Severino said about the young boy, he didn't want to stay in the funeral of his father because he missed his father. He wanted to stay there to inherit the money, the assets, the land. So Jesus knew that in his heart, that he wasn't there only for because he loved his father so much. I'm not saying he didn't love, I'm not saying I cannot say that, but like Steven said, he wants to inherit all the gadgets, all the assets from there. So once we see each other as equal, we are doing something which is not the best or the perfect, but we are getting there. Once we think are better than the others because we know something about spiritism or anything else, guys, be careful.
Mhm.
Be careful. Go ahead, Steven.
Well, yes, and at the same time, the mission of the Spirit is, like Wanderley said, perhaps we are not ready to follow Jesus, but we are ready to console someone, to know that the charity, it is the most important thing ever. Fraternity, solidarity. We know we can we don't need to convince anybody that the reincarnation does exist, the spiritual world does exist. We don't need to convince anybody. And it's not our position here to convince anyone. Our mission here is know that the spiritual world does exist and we will interact with them. And my attitudes today will have a consequence. And these consequences I need to deal with. This is called hell. There is no someone with a trident or waiting for you and say, "Hey, come here." No, it's your conscious. Your conscious point the fingers to you and say, "Hey, yeah, so what's going on? What you did? What you bring? How many how many souls have you saved?" This is one of I cannot say fights, but this is an argument. Uh, for example, let's compare. Let a city comparison here. City comparison. Let's say you need to convince someone to come to Spirit Center. So, how many you talk about spiritism? How many watched our lives here? How many of you are still in doubt? It's up to you. This is your mission. Everyone has one. Some will have small mission, big, other will have big missions. But I guarantee to you, you have the mission according to the weight you can carry. So it's up to you. And you have your free will to decide what you're gonna do. We want to follow Jesus? Yes, we want. Perhaps we are not ready to give up of everything and follow him, but we can start today fixing some problems, some issues we have, and get ready, because the day we receive the invitation to follow him, we will say, I can go now. So this is your mission. This is my mission. This is Wanderley missions. When it's gonna happen? Unfortunately, I don't have a crystal ball here. I don't have this answer. But I don't know you. I'm far from this. Again, like Wanderley had said many times here, we are in this situation here explaining the gospel, talking about the gospel, because I'm pretty sure how many we deviate in the past lives from God. And we need now to recover those souls we put a part of it. So it's not because we are better, we are all they are. No, we are nothing. And this is our mission. Understand the Spiritism, talk the Spiritism, spread the Spiritism, and this is your mission as well. And you don't need to spread the Spiritism talking about the gospel by attitudes. By attitudes. Be a fair person, be a reasonable person, be a fraternal person, also do your solidarity, do your charity. Treat people with love, even though those who hate you, even though those who harm you. This is your mission. This is my mission. This is everyone's mission here. Anything else, Wanderley?
No, just to finish this part of part four, when it says here that those who are following the good pathway, like Stevan said, will be recognized by the principles of true charity. For the every, like Stevan said also before, for how much love they spread, how much pain they alleviated, for how much love they gave to their neighbors, for how much actions they acted without any interest, you know, of getting something. But those who acted, on the other hand, try to pretend, trying to use, perhaps spiritism or any other philosophy or any other way to try to get, things from people, like, or try to pretend they are something which they are not, and the others, will be following their ideas or something like this. These ones here, according to Erastus, which is who is one of the spirits who helped in the codification and also in the works of Kardec in general, he says that these ones they will be destroyed. Of course, he's using a strong language here because we know that God does not destroy spirits. We're just going to be receiving according to what we did. But like Steven said here, you know, if we are doing all these things, you are being a good spiritist, you are being a good person, even if you are an atheist, even if you don't believe in anything, or even if you believe in X, Y, and Z. Once you are doing this, you are doing the good work in the vineyard. You are doing your part. You are improving yourself. You are helping the others. You are trying to alleviate all the pain that you perhaps you can. You know, but that's a very important part that you have to remember, because Jesus said once that we should flourish in the places that we are placed, that we are put. Because some people they say, once I'm in that situation or in that place, I'm gonna be doing this and this and that. Or once I have this, I'm gonna be doing this and this and that. But in fact, Jesus saying to us, we have to be good, we have to be helping, we have to be like a light. Doesn't matter where we are. Doesn't matter which place life has placed us, has put us. Because we cannot say, I'm just good if I'm here. If I'm there, I'm not good. No, you have to be good everywhere. If you are really someone who tries to help each other, who tries to improve, who is really trying to improve yourself, from the bottom of your heart, doesn't matter in which situation, which country you are placed, or which country you move, or which job you move, you're gonna be a nice person. Like Steven, he's nice at his work now, but if he goes to work to Amazon or Google, Steven's gonna be I don't know, a stupid boss. No, he won't, because he's a nice guy. If he becomes someone prideful or stupid in the other job, that perhaps maybe he wasn't a nice guy in the first place. Maybe he was pretending. Do you know what I mean? That's the invitation of Jesus, to be good. Doesn't matter where life is giving us, it's putting us. That's a good message, I believe, from Erasmus that we have to try to understand. For my side, that's it, Steven. How about you?
I'm okay as well.
So we are just
Do you
putting
guys have
here.
any question for us? Any doubts? Please let us know. And
We
don't
are.
forget, go
Yep.
ahead, Miguel.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just go ahead. I put here.
Rob said a comment here.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we are all at a point to recognize if we are making an effort to improve.
Mhm.
Robbie, do not worry about it. Just do it. Do your best. That's it. That's it. Do your best. Be with your conscience clean. You know, do your best. When you put your head in your pillow, you are happy with yourself, with your attitudes. The consequence, it's pointless. Okay? So, hey, Robbie, in 1 week, in 2 weeks, I'll be in your sunny California. So let's see. Yeah. So, uh, don't forget, guys. Today, 8:30 p.m. Just go to our YouTube page,
Okay.
Spiritism Ireland.
Because I'm showing the about the studs first.
Oh,
It's there.
anyway, okay.
Okay. So
Yeah,
guys, every Wednesday we
it's
have
my
this.
fear. It's my fear to forget about this.
Now I have it here. So guys, every Wednesday we have our studs group at 8 p.m. Please send an email to us at spiritism@gmail.com. Nate or Tanya or someone else will reply to you guys. Sending the Zoom link is not done via YouTube or something or StreamYard. We use Zoom. But yes, guys, everyone is more than welcome to go. You don't need any background to be there. And also, Steven's talking about this, about the healing tonight. Steven, go ahead.
Yeah, go to our YouTube page, Spiritist Society of Ireland, and you will see our friends broadcasting the virtual healing. It's from 8:30 to 8:45, 8:50, no more than this. So please join the guys there. They are doing an excellent work, and I would just want to say to them, thank you.
Anything else? From my side, that's it, Steven.
Okay. What was I getting ready for high gas prices? Yeah, my friend. Here is the same thing, you know.
Don't go to Brazil.
Uh, Here is the same thing, my friend. It is insane, you know. Yeah, yeah. It's a boomer. So, Wanderley, can you do the final prayer?
Sure. So, for those who feel comfortable, I'd like to invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Try to forget about all the troubles from work, from outside. Let's just concentrate in this present moment where we are here in the presence of the good spirits and our mentors. Let's be thankful to them for another day of life. Let's be thankful to them for the opportunity to reach this great message of Spiritism and many other philosophies and many other great people that we are finding around the world who are trying to spread the message of love and charity and fraternity. Let's be thankful for the time that we are living right now. In all these chains, we are part of it. Let's not despair with all the troubles, all the wars, and all the illness that may find us. Let's not forget that the good spirits, they are guiding and supporting us. However, if we find any trouble still, let's not forget that God is just. And if anything comes to us, it's because we must live this experience. We must pass to this trouble in order to improve ourselves, in order to fix ourselves with the law of action and reaction. So let's be thankful to God, who is just with everyone in each time of humanity, in each time that our existence. And let's not forget that this boat called Earth has a captain, and Jesus is the captain of Earth, and he's helping us, but he cannot do our actions, but he can inspire, and he does all the time, us in order to do our best and choose in the best way possible. Thank God, and so be it. Okay,
Thank you.
guys. Thank you, guys. Have a good
Thank
night.
you, guys. I'll see you on Thursday.